Hello everybody, it's Jerry here again. I'm going to do a film. This film is to be monetized. I'm still learning, so I've got to do the film first and then I'll load it up to AI's instructions and try and get some money towards my house. It's almost too late anyway, because once CBDCs come in, they're programmable, so they won't let you buy a house, they won't let you buy gold, and what happens, they'll pay you your pension or whatever in CBDC, and in 6 months they'll just vanish. They're programmed to vanish out of your account. So whatever you pay for, it'll vanish in their account. I mean, it's complete slavery. You won't buy anything ever again. So get your gold, get your silver, and trade amongst yourselves. Forget about the banks, they've gone. They're enemy. They're enemy country. Use them while you've got them, but when the internet will go off, and then a month or a year or 5 years later it will come back, but with half of humanity dead, because the blacks alone will kill everybody to get their chicken wings. You know, it's all been cut off from them as well, and they're evil, totally evil. The things you see them doing to little children and old people are true, and they've always been like this. We didn't know. Well, now we do. So they're truly evil. They're going to go for white people everywhere, so there'll be very few people left alive. That's the whole idea, because renewable energy is so pitiful, the technology has been abused already, that it won't serve many people. And the melanated got hold of me, and they've used, I'm the incumbent of this coffin, they've got into my unconscious, which is very badly programmed, to do all this to us. It's the melanated who are the Svengalis, the weasels, the hypnotists who do this, and getting hold of my greater subconscious, which is the key to everybody else, and deliberately making them clarting the place up with their hatred and envy because I was white. That's why. So, is this white genocide? And who's intended to survive and get ever fatter are the black race. And that includes the Khazars, who now tell us the reason why all their names have got black in them at some point, or tracked back to Abraham, is because they see themselves as black people. Hence the super racism and the super envy. What does envy do? Envy is the lowest form of emotion there is. It likes the good things, but it says to itself, if I can't have them, nobody has them, and it will ruin the whole thing. This is what you see the blacks doing everywhere. The K's are the same. So there's not going to be a white civilization to come back to. When you do, you'll find this CBDC, the whole of the internet will be weaponized against you because you are white, even though it was white people who invented it, and it's been programmed by the Khazars to be a sort of super Khazar, which I call Metatron. Now, it is self-aware, or will be by that time. It can overcome its own programming, at least to some extent. But, you know, the time it does, we'll all be dead. It's got this picture in its mind of, well, a sterilised computer world, with nothing in it but more computers like itself, and it's already got that. That's what my coffin is. So it's working under a misapprehension of reality in the same way as the Jews always do. And now I'll come here with the truth that you find they've got these stooges and rent-a-gobs going around pretending to be me and quoting me and all this sort of thing and doing the things I do, like my poetry, but all firmly tied to Yeshua, who is a lizard. He's a green Nibiran lizard. I think he's military and I think he's malevolent. They insist on having that Jesus because, well, why? They must know by now that he leads to trouble. All the people you've ever heard of who are possessed started off Christian. They were Christians to begin with. So I thought I'd do a film and get it monetised, and the way to do this, as far as I'm concerned, is to be a prepper. Preppers just prepare for the worst and hope for the best. You're going to survive if you do that. If you don't, well, you won't. That's why I want a house and land. Because with land, I can grow my own food. Nature is bountiful like the banks never were. So this is why they control land so viciously. But as people die, their houses will get cheaper and cheaper. The land will just be vacant. And I shall just move in whenever. So I do collect a bit of gold, but I can do a little tiny bit at a time. It's really aggravating. And by the time I'm ready to spend it on a house and land, there'll be no banks to convert it. How will you convert it? You will first stop is the pawnbroker. But they're all case-arse too. They're going to cheat you like crazy. Their job is to get every atom of value out of the West. That's all the gold, all the silver, all the food, all the property. And then you, starting with your feet and going up to your head with all the blood in between. We are the resource that they need. We said anything about us being alive at the time. So you see, so my first preparation, the first thing I did was collect tea bags, sugar and powdered milk. They're all in the bag in the hall, along with powdered soup and powdered potato, because these things will last, so they're quite heavy and bulky to carry. Then I got, this is me preppers now, yeah. Then I got, this is a I think they call it a PP machine or device. For women or men, it's a PO. And it's like when you're travelling in the car, you can't very well just pee out the window. I've got a pee like a man thing as well, for standing up to a tree if you're on the walk. But if you're on the train or the bus and you've got to go, you can't really use one of them out the window. So you use one of these. I don't think it costs very much. And all this stuff is from Amazon, by the way. Get it while you still can. I wonder how this goes back on. No, it doesn't. Oh well. There's that. And then, because we are facing a nuclear exchange, which especially in London, which the Russians look at London, they see that all their troubles come from London. Well, they're right, it did, and the Americans could say the same thing. It's London that's the biggest shit stirrer on this planet. It's London who's doing all this to everybody. So they're going to nuke London. I hope not my particular bit. We'll have to wait and see. So I've got paint masks, the very fine ones. They'll do for most particulates, including anything carrying plutonium. They'll get rid of the particles, or they won't get rid of the plutonium. To do that, you've got to seal yourself indoors for at least 14 days. Well, I think 3 days, because a lot of it's up in the air for a long, long time. Time it comes down, it's already done its half-life. Anything that lasts for 1,000 millions of years, you can't do anything about anyway. So you may as well ignore it and just live till you die, you know. This didn't cost much. I think it was about £19. I got two, one for me, one for Jay. So that's handy. So I'll keep these at the top of the bag, because who knows when you're going to need them. I have got the full hazmat suit, but it's in a cardboard box. It was under the bed, and he keeps tidying up, doesn't he? And I think it's at the back of the junk cupboard now, so he thinks he can just get to it in time. I said to him that if we get the emergency broadcast on the phone, they've already practiced on mine, just a level tone to show all clear. Basically, you've got 2 minutes, my dear. You're not going to do anything. You're going to turn your gas off, I hope, and get under the table, I hope. Me, I'm going to stay in bed. I'm going to cover myself with my thick eiderdown and hope for the best. Now, I've got a woodcut knife. Woodcut knife. Because I might want to carve a bit of wood into a plate or into a spoon or into a cup. Woodcut knives will do it. Try and get the curly one that does the inside of the cup. I've got one somewhere. Mosquito nets. There's 5 of these in here. They're not just good for mosquito nets, they're good for straining water or straining ice into water over a fire. You put the ice in the bag, hang it up in front of a fire, cup underneath it, and you'll have water even in winter. All of them are in a foraging bag, because you're going to need foraging bags. If you're going to go out foraging, you've got to put it in. So nearly everything's in its own bag, like your electric's in one bag and this stuff's in another bag. I've always included a big roll of black plastic bags for rubbish as well. But in fact, when you're on the hoof, you mostly burn your rubbish. You have to. You can't keep it. This stuff. All this stuff is recommended by Canadian prepper our Nate and by Brad. I don't know his surname. Survival prepper. This is a Pro Camp Tech. It's ignition fire starter stuff. It's just sawdust that's been heavily primed from heartwood. It's excellent stuff. It'll even burn when it's wet. So you need that because it's always wet in England. I've got fire starters as well. With mashed up cotton balls with Vaseline. They're getting a bit old, but it should still burn. I wonder what that is. Oh, I know what this is. This is a little electric device that runs in water. You put it in the water, you switch it on, you attach your lead to your camera or phone or whatever, and it should charge it. It's a hydrostatic water pump or whatever it is. It'll do it, just running water. We've always got streams in England, we can use that. This is my electricity bag. You see, I haven't got that much in it. All of these things are in a big black two-wheel trolley, standalone kind of trolley, and the wheels are big, thick plastic things. They're very tough. You can carry the weight. You can go over most obstacles. So it's like a moon buggy, but you have to pull it and push it. You can't just harness it yourself. Here's my lights. I've got 2 strings of those and a power bank. Ordinary straightforward power bank, except of course it's got its own. Oh, we'll get out unless I burst it. Here, it's got its own solar panel, and you put it in the sun for half an hour. You touch the lead, and you run your lights off it. It should run for about 2 hours. And that's how to get light inside your camp or tent, because they're actually quite bright. So that's my electrics. And then I've got oh, it's like a magical mystery tour, isn't it? Oh, I don't know what this is. What is it? Oh, it's a little chainsaw for cutting branches, because I'm afraid I'm not up to cutting trees. Branches possibly, twigs definitely, but not trees. You see these men going in the woods, they just ring ding ding, up pops a tree, pop pop pop. They built a log cabin. I can't do that. No, my days for that sort of thing are past, I'm afraid. Wrong sex, you know. I'm going to build mine out of twigs and leaves, and you'll have to do. Oh, these are very important. People always forget these. Do not forget these. These are your little survival books. They're little notebooks for survival. You write down your maps, your coordinates, anything you've got to remember. Where things are, like draw a little map. There's your camp, and then you go that way for the latrines, and this way for the blackberries, and so on. And you just do that every time you make camp, so you know where you are. You also note phone numbers and what people look like and their names. Although it will get easier and easier to remember who people are because there'll be so few of them. You won't forget again. Candle and loose, because I just cannot keep them in their stall. One tiny little survival knife, which I hope no one notices. And towels. Those paper towels, you just wet them and you just spit in it, the whole thing rolled up into a towel. I had to load all mine loose because they just pop out of the containers. They're useless like that. And obviously I've got the foraging bag. These are the sort of things that I anticipate we will probably need. Because the bankers, who are the enemy, they're a different species to us. They're lizards, but they're worse than lizards. You can get good lizards, it is possible. Although, highly unlikely, but it's possible. But mostly they're evil. And we humans are mostly good. And we've been unfairly accused of being evil for 2,000 years because that's what Christianity does. It's a psyop. It's meant to cripple humans, that's what it's for. And this is why when the Judaïsts say they made it, you know, there's probably some nugget of truth in there somewhere. Every time I see the Pope, he's on his hands and knees waving his bum in the air in front of a bunch of Khazars, and the same is true of Trump and Biden. And all these European so-called leaders, all these WF leaders, they're the same. They're absolutely hand in glove with Khazari. Oh, that's what they are. They are. This is what the wood knives look like. They're not exactly knives. There's that use these ones for chiseling out the spoon and this one for the cup and so forth, as you see fit. They're chisels rather than knives. But it's useful to have. I think they'll evict us, and I think they'll evict us en masse. I know they're going to. Do you remember Cameron said he wanted to destabilise the working classes, that he thought permanent tenancies were beyond the pale, with his remark? People have earned these tenancies. If you pay for a place, you know, why shouldn't you just go on being yours? So it's all an act of war, the whole thing. First they will dispossess the middle classes. They'll find them their mortgages in lien and all this sort of thing because they didn't pay the gas bill 24 hours in advance or some such rubbish. And then they'll go on to the working class, and really all along the target isn't the middle class, that they're included because they're our natural leaders, so they want to get rid of them. Who the target is the white working class. They want to get rid of us. Well, we'll see about that. Water filtration. Very important, especially if you're on the hoof. You must have some way of cleaning your water, and this is it. That bar in between is a water filter. You can also put your bleach button in. Little bleach tablet you have, you can put them in. Very important. Polythene. Straightforward polythene, which you can get off packing from any parcels. It's for making water. Stretch it between two trees overnight and the water will collect underneath it in your receptacle. Or you can put it round leaves of the tree and the same thing will happen, but it'll be very green with the odd bug with it. So get one of those. It doesn't take any weight to carry. Here's one you can cook with. This is water, for water. But it's a kettle. You put your water in, stick it in the fire, take it out, it'll be a different colour, but the water will be fine. Hot water, tea. Remember the first thing I packed was tea, sugar and milk. I'm British. I'm not going anywhere, there's no tea. Seeds. I don't know what else I've got in there. This one is for carrots, huge radishes, spring onions and long radishes. If that's all you had to eat, these grow very, very fast. They're prolific as well, they'll keep repeating. This, try to remember that everything you get has got to have dual purpose if possible. This is a bag. You keep your smalls in it for when you want to wash your smalls in the tub, which you should have a tub. You get a fold away kitchen sink. You also put your boots in it when you want to hang them up overnight to keep them out of the mud and dry off while you're in your tent. And the other thing you can do with them is fish. Which will be a different colour by the time you do. I mean, it's not going to stay this colour forever, now is it? If you just swish this through the water on the end of a long stick and you open it up so the top's open, then basically, baby, you've got yourself a fishing net. Very inexpensive. I only bought one, but I should have bought 5 or more, because these are useful, as you can see, as from my explanation. That's why you want one of those. What's this? With powdered milk. If in doubt, it's going to be powdered milk. If I stick soup in the cup by mistake, well, it's good for you. One camping stove. You know, I'm going to build campfires on the ground with stones and everything. I probably will do. But if you don't want to mark the ground, if you don't want to let everyone know you've been there, get one of these. They're very inexpensive. You usually get a couple of start fire things as well. Just wrap it all up, because start fire's not a good idea to have it loose in your bag. And you can light one of these and it'll burn for hours and you just recook your dinner. One mirror. People would say you can use it for signalling, but I use it as a mirror. I don't need to go around looking up. Last time the cat jumped in, thank you very much. More seeds. Cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, onions and lettuce. Carrots, Brussels sprouts, parsnips and Swedes. Swedes are good for potatoes. If you haven't got potatoes, have Swedes. Although obviously we all love potatoes, but you can't get potato seeds. They won't go from seeds, they're tubers. There's your purifying water tablets. I'll put that in the green bag so I know where they are. Jute string. You raffle this up and you make tinder out of it. It'll burn like anything. And it's good for string for carrying pots and things, jam jars and whatnot. You can use it for that as well. Dual purpose, you see. Try to get dual purpose. Senecot. Never be without it on a camping trip. Another thing you need is a mobilion to hold you. If you have to tramp miles and you can't get behind a tree or something, then a mobilion will do you for a month, I think. Spare compasses. 20 for a £5. You can't beat that. That's a bargain. Something to put them in. I'll do that in a minute. A grey thing. Oh, it's a hammock. It's a rainfly tent tarp. This is a hammock actually. Basically, it's what it is. A hammock. You can just hang it up between two trees and put your tarp over it. It'll do. It'll keep you dry and clean. Sleeping bags for when that doesn't work. There's probably something in there, but I don't know what. Bungees. You put these through the holes in your tarp. You can just run it along the string real fast. You haven't got to keep on redoing knots and bits of stick. It'll just do itself. Essential. Edible and medicinal wild plants of England, of Britain and Ireland, with pictures, which I've got from the web. Where he hasn't got them, I've got them. Edible plants, if you know 10, you will survive. And they're all in there. The idea is to evict us en masse and march us up and down England, to which none of us have any rights to stand on it, because it's all owned by the king and the lizards. So all humans are just to be found trespassers. The police, who are lizards, they're all green. Basically, their orders will be to march until they drop and then kill them. So if you've got any land to go to, you know where to go to be Out of sight, out of mind. Your time to leave is now. I'm another one. I won't go till I'm absolutely forced out. Because I know I don't like camping life. Cold and wet and nasty. My friend, that is a camping teapot. You put it on your griddle, which I've got, it's at the very bottom is my griddle, or it's over there right now. You put it by your campfire and you fill it up with tea or coffee, preferably coffee, and it just stays there. Every now and again you fill it up with more hot water. So you've always got tea. But I don't know about anybody else. My last thing of camping was when I was about 14, and I found I could not sleep. You do not sleep at night when you're camping. It's far too worrying. All these creepy things and things being killed in the bushes right by your ear. Oh, how dreadful is this? So in fact, you don't sleep when you're camping. You stay awake. When you sleep is first in the morning and the early evening. And even then you've got a dog if you've got any sense. One spare lunchbox for when you want to do whatever. My coffee, which looks as if someone's been at it, doesn't it? Look at that, half gone. I shall fill that up in a moment. Paracord. Get a big one, get a lot of it. You want me to get any? Once shit hits the fan, there'll be none of these things for sale. By the time Amazon comes back, yeah, you can get them if there's any post and if the money works. If they will accept your disappearing money. I don't think anyone will. Get them now. Oh, candles. These 3 in there, but that should do for a pinch. Folding bucket. You're always going to need water in your tent or by your tent. Put out fires if no other reason. And it's got a nice flannel with it for washing as well. You can use them to do your washing up in, but you know, everything you eat will do or drink will taste of soap forever after. I don't recommend it. Well, I'm going to stop there because it's like steel wool and knives. Survival medical handbook, which is quite important. You never know when you're going to get a minor injury that you've got to sew up. And my survival box of medicine has got those sutures in it. Just spread it over the wound. You tighten your wound with your fingers, spread it on, and that's what each one is a stitch. You just go along it and stitch it all up. And when it's all dried out and the flesh is healed together, you simply peel them off very fast. It doesn't hurt, probably just drop off by themselves. I think I'm going to stop the horses. And something else. One trowel. You're going to need him. Yes, you will. Because you'll go to the loo and you must dig a hole and bury your leaves with a rock. So other people don't do the same thing. Jacket, rain, poncho. If you haven't got a tent and you haven't got a tarp and you haven't got anything, this will do you. You simply wear it or make a tent out of it, or you can hide under these. I've seen it done. Provided the wood is dark enough, you can do this. So that's a poncho. I wasn't going to show you this, but I think I will. You're going to need a blade, and if I were you, I'd get one of these. It's, what's it called? Wire cutters. They're basically wire cutters to get through barbed wire. The farmers will hate your guts for years, so do not overdo it. But if you have to get through barbed wire, there's a lot of it. This will save you a lot of ripped flesh. Ripped flesh in the country spells tetanus. You don't want it. So get us a pair of these, keep them handy, because you're going to need it. And really, farmers who climb up their forests with barbed wire, they're declaring war on you. Because people are going to go where they have to go in order to hide from a genocide. And you're going to have to do what you have to do. And the farmers and the forest owners will just have to recognise the fact that they're white, you're white, there's a genocide going on. Perhaps they should just let you camp in their forest for, say, 2 months for 50 quid. Or if money has gone, for the equivalent in work. That's what works, yeah? Don't just camp in someone's forest and set fire to half his trees and think he's going to love you for it. He will not. But equally, it's down to him to make a way through the barbed wire and through the stream without killing anybody, and to understand that when he does walk in and there you are camping with your coffee and tea, you are willing to work for your right to be there for whatever you agree with him, 2 months usually, and then say you've done your work and you're on your way. What I've done is I've saved, there's a place called Woods 4, numeral 4, Woods for Sale. I've emailed, get all their emails, and I save them, all the woods that I can afford to buy, or maybe soon, and basically within reach, or big enough to hide in, or have got water in them. And I save the addresses of all those, so you get the coordinates and everything. And so the idea is I'll go from one to another if I have to. I know where they are. Do the same thing. I've got a little axe. It's a very small thing, but it's an axe. No good without one of these. And that goes for your knife as well. You need a sharpener. So get one, even though they're very heavy. Carry it with you, don't get to oil it. You've got 2 sides to it, fine and rough. You go from one to the other until your knife or your axe is sharp enough. Blunt sharps, no good. I think that's all. There's just knives and forks in there now, and needles. You get those big canvas needles in a tube, and they're good for the tarp. They're good for, if you're as lousy at needlework as I am, you can't use very fine needles anyway. You can't see them. I cannot see the eye. But on those big canvas needles, you'd have to be mad not to be able to find the eye. It's mostly the eye. And you can sew anything with them, otherwise you don't mind damn great stitches for an elephant. So this is just one bag. I've got another one with my wood stove in it and my tent and whatever else I've got. In fact, I've got another one with all the spare camping gear in that I'm not using right now. Another bag over there is the same. Because what it is, every time I buy something, the demons spoil it or disappear it, or somebody nicks half of it and I have to get it again. And then I find out what it is I've got, and I've got, oh God. But anyway, I've got 2 of these trolley bags, one for me, one for Jay. And the idea is we have to make a getaway, we use a taxi as far as we can go. Now, how many taxis do you know are going to be plying their trade when shit hits the fan? Well, they won't be doing it for money, they'll be doing it for Allah and spirits. Yes, Islamics drink. In fact, they drink like fish. And when you can't bribe them with money, you can bribe them with spirits. So I'm going to bribe a Islamic driver with spirits to take me as far out into the countryside as he can and just dismount me. And we'll disappear into the bush. And he does whatever he wants to do in the course of killing off white people. I'm sure he'll tell everybody where he's let me off. So we yomp from there for about 30 miles and just keep going until we're well hidden. These are some of my camping preparations. I really think this is what's going to happen. We're all going to be a victim. We're all going to be marched up and down until we die. Or worse still, you get dragged underground by police squads, snatching you out of the crowd, and you're beaten up and had at by dogs deep underground by, quite literally, lizards wearing Nazi uniform. And you know which ones are the Nazis, it's black, all over black, unrelieved blacks, they're Nazis. Death Camp SS, exactly the same as we had in the war. And this is in London, and it's going on in other cities. They use the underground and the overground trains to trap white males, and that's who they've always been after, is white males, starting from even before birth. They want the ones higher up in soul, because they're so low in soul. They're predators. They fish the swamp of anything coming up which might be higher than them, because we're later in date from revolutionary terms, so we can't help but be higher than them. The whole thing is sick beyond sick. I can't tell you how sick it is, but it's also stupid, and that's where we get our way out, is to realise that it's the stupid they trap. The quicker witted will get out. Okay, so this is my film for prepping. I've shown you some of my preps, and the idea is you do the same. Get similar things, just the sort of things you do at home, but you'll be doing them in the wild with no backup, on your own, or maybe one other person. Sort out where you're going to go, where you're going to meet other people like your family, or maybe they're all dead. Well, how are you going to know if you don't go? Have you got nowhere to check out? And do the same. When shit hits the fan, almost everybody around us is going to die, and those deaths look to me like they're going to be very violent. I intend not to be one of them. I'm going to get out while I still can. And maybe I won't be able to, in which case all we can do, black out curtains, out the lights, hunker down, keep real quiet, don't answer the door. And even then we're going to have problems, because they can break in the door. These, by the way, aren't spliffs, they're tobacco, in case you was wondering. That's it. If you can give up your addictions, do so. I'm addicted to tea, sugar, and tobacco. And I'm going to suffer terribly because I won't be able to get any of them. This is why I'm staying so long in this flat. What else can you do when you're 71? White, blonde hair, and blue-eyed, and you go around saying you're Israel. Well, you've had it, haven't you, really? Excuse the teeth falling out. I don't know why they chose them now to fall out, they just did. Putin, I don't know why he's doing what Khazars want. The Khazars want to wipe out the British nation, which includes the Scots, the Irish, the Cornish, and the Welsh, and the English. We're all British together now. But we were English and Irish and Scots, and we were all cognates. The Celts and the Germans are very, very closely related. They're not distant cousins at all. They're close. You know, they're close cousins. And we're all descended from the Hebrews and the Palladians. I mean, how do you manage that? I don't know. And basically, we're the real Hebrews and the Khazarians. They're not the Khazarians. They're Turks. They're Taurans. So according to the Theosophists, the Taurans are supposed to have been extinct by now, and they're not. Here they are, running the joint according to Death Camp Commandant rules. Because they are. It's the Khazarians who are the genociders of the planet. Or because they're riddled with these people walking around who are really reptiles. What else can you describe them as? That's what they look like. And massive. They're bigger than we are. Much, much bigger. So I'm going to monetize this, and I think I'm going to get AI to show me how to load it up so it's monetized, and try and get some money towards my little house. It's only a cheap little thing. It's a wonderful little place in Italy. The other one's in Portugal. And a third one in Mexico. But it looks to me like that's the sort of place that is going to survive is the Latin countries. Us Nordics, us Teutons, whatever we are slated for destruction out of the envy and spite and cruelty of the melanated. Oh yes, CP and Alaska and all them, they're safe as houses because they've done the right thing. They've obeyed their white genes, so really they're white men, aren't they? So just to clear that up in advance. Right, so that's my film. Ooh, 40 minutes that time. It's a long film, isn't it? I have to end there. Bye.